Hi guys, welcome to day 1 of the 7-day clarity and prioritization challenge. Over the next 7 days, you'll have 10 to 15-minute mini coaching sessions to gain clarity by mapping out and prioritizing what truly matters to you, and we're going to do it with intention. You'll understand how to map your current reality, how to clarify your goals and desires. You'll learn some prioritization techniques, find motivation and direction. We'll get some tips on habit creation, and you'll set yourself up for personal alignment and integration. Hi, my name is Kiara. I am an Olympian and mindset coach. Due to popular demand, I'm doing a little bit more podcasting today. So let me know in the comments how you feel about it. If you have any suggestions, if you like it, if you don't like it, hit me up with any questions. It really helps me improve. It helps me to give people what they want and give them the direction that they need. So today we're starting with a bit of a foundational self-awareness. I'll give you a tool that will help you get a clearer picture of where you currently are. And this will help in setting up a bit of a goal compass for you. If you've ever struggled to know exactly what you're working towards or why some goals feel more motivating for others, then today's view is going to let you get clear on the big picture so that you can build towards something meaningful. And in the coming days, we will get more specific about that and how to narrow down on your goals. So before we jump in, let's talk about why today's lesson is important. NLP, or for those of you who don't know, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, has a concept that the map is not the territory. So if you think about it, life exists as it is, but everyone experiences it in their own way. They have their own subjective experience of reality. And that's all consequence of a subconscious personal map that each individual has of themselves, of other people, of the world around them. These meanings and maps have been influenced by so many different things in your upbringing, family, culture, personality, and the circumstances around you. So your brain has made meaning throughout your life, mapped it into an internal database, and then it uses that to navigate through life. As you become increasingly self-aware, it increases our ability to more accurately map ourselves and life and others so that we can navigate the world appropriately without too much problems or deregulations or stress. It is my belief, and I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, the people who I trained with at the Mind Academy in Australia, as well as taking what works from philosophers, psychiatrists, psychoanalysts, and psychologists. It is my belief that to truly live a purposeful and meaningful life, you must continuously increase your ability to accurately map yourself, to accurately map other people, and to accurately map the world around you. This is just me. If you have something that works for you, of course, keep that. We're all about doing what works. I'm just offering my view and what I operate off, which is one way of looking at it. And that's the basis of how I teach. So just keeping that in mind. So when you can accurately map yourself and you begin to accurately map others, you have an increased ability to build rapport and connection, which is the ability to join someone else at their reality or their map of the world and making them feel comfortable. You can find strong common bonds to understand each other. With those understandings, you can put people at ease, make them more responsive to you, and allow a building of trust. So essentially, the better that you get at mapping yourself and mapping others, you develop a skill of connecting with others. And from an evolutionary perspective, we are community animals, and connection, I believe, is one of the most important aspects to a fulfilling life. The other concept I want to briefly touch on is also taken from the field of NLP, and the concept is being a cause or effect. So it refers to an individual's ability to take responsibility for their actions and influence the world around them, rather than being a passive observer to events. So when a person is at cause, they are proactive, they take initiative, and they seek to create change in their environment. Conversely, when someone is at effect, they are reactive. They tend to blame external factors for the circumstances Now, this concept is important to NLP because it can greatly impact an individual's success in achieving their goals. By being at cause, a person can actively work toward their desired outcomes, overcome obstacles, whereas those who are at effect may feel powerless and stuck in their current situation. So one of the central ideas that the Mind Academy, where I trained, has is that individuals have the ability to choose whether they want to be passive or if they want to be active in their lives. So being passive means that the person is reactive to their environment and they allow external factors to dictate their thoughts, emotions, behaviors. While on the other hand, if you become more and more active, it means that person takes control of their life and they actively seek to create outcomes that they desire. So if you frame it as a choice, that means individuals can take responsibility for their lives and create a positive change. So it's important to note the distinction that this doesn't ignore the reality of the situation, that oftentimes how you currently are is not your fault. Especially in your younger years and how you've been brought up and the influence of your family, your environment, the culture, they all shape that. They all shape who you are. It is not your fault what you're currently struggling with. However, if you truly want to experience real change in your life, it is your responsibility to make a conscious choice to be active and to create a life and a person that you want to be. Unfortunately, nobody else is going to be able to do it for you. So if we go back to the map analogy and imagine that you've been dropped in an unknown location with no ability to speak the language and you have no idea where you are and you've just been dumped there. Would you agree that it would be quite hard to navigate? Would you also agree that this place is still the same place regardless if you have a map or not? And would you also agree that even if you had a very specific map of how to get around, there are also many different layers that not just one map can address? You might have the street names, or you might have the terrain, or the altitude, or the oceans, rivers, you might have the building names, and then there's all these other people around that they also have their own maps with them. So all we're doing is trying to increase either the details within our maps, so at least we have some idea of how to navigate them without unnecessary resistance, or we want to expand our maps, increase the area of which the map sort of goes across. So it's important to know that we can always expand our map or add more detail. If we could stay curious, it helps us update when our old map becomes outdated. Becoming self-aware and understanding underlying beliefs that we have and values can also provide a compass and give us a general direction of where we want to go. Today, I'm going to give you a self-awareness coaching wheel and I'm going to let you know how to use it as a tool. It goes over 8 life categories that can help you better understand which areas of your life you would like to focus on first in expanding your map. I'll walk you through the process of selecting one of these areas that you want to focus on and end it with a few reflections to start clarifying what matters most. So I've linked the wheel below, so you can go ahead and open that now, or it's also on the screen. So this is a powerful tool that gives you kind of a bird's eye view of your life. The purpose of this wheel is to help you map where you're currently spending your energy, and then you can go ahead and identify areas in which you want to become more conscious about putting your attention. So with each section of the wheel, we're going to rate where you currently feel you sit. 10 is going to be the most optimal version of yourself in that area, your ideal version. That's not to do with anyone else. This is for you and you only. So don't think about what other people expect or anything. This is literally what you want. So say, for example, I'm in a place in my life where I'm really comfortable with my sort of spirituality. I've decided what I want to run off at the moment and I'm really comfortable, and I have no desire at the moment to go further into my spiritual growth. For me at the moment, that might be optimal. So I might put a 10. Someone else's way of interpreting interpreting it might be completely different, and they have an idea of what spirituality means to them, and that it's an ongoing process of life, and they're only on, a 3 or something. It is completely individual, and it's completely up to you, and there is no right or wrong way to do it. 10 is just going to be the most optimal for you in that section and what that means to you. So you're going to have a look at the wheel and then just choose whatever sticks out to you first to start. And you're going to rate that, 0 being not optimal at all and 10 being most optimal for you. And you're going to rate that. And then you're going to go around the wheel. It doesn't have to be in order, just in whatever makes sense to you. You're going to rank all of those sections out of 10. I would highly recommend after you've done this, take a second to do another round. And this time close your eyes, really letting it sit with you, 10 being the most optimal of that category, and rate it that way with your eyes closed. Connect with that deeper part of you that has the relationship with that part of your life. And just notice what you notice. It might be different, it might be the same. Sometimes consciously it's a little bit different than when we take the time to drop into the deeper part of us. And just be completely honest with yourself about what it actually is. And so I'd highly recommend that you do that. That's completely up to you. These are all just tools, and if you want to spend the time doing the work, that's up to you. I'm not saying that it's not going to work if you don't do that, but I'm suggesting that if you really are struggling with some areas of your life or some direction in your life, it would be worth taking the time to actually do these things properly rather than just gathering information about them and hoping that they work. Doing the things are going to get you change, not thinking about the things. So now take a step back, have a look at your wheel, and look at which area you would most like to work on. Some people will go for areas that are closer to optimal, like get your biggest bang for your buck, or some people will go for areas that are really low, depending on what that means to them and what's best for them and what stands out to you and what makes the most sense to you. So just whatever naturally comes to you that you would like to work on, choose that section of your wheel. So now that you've selected an area on the wheel, take a moment to think about, if this area were to improve, what impact would that have on my overall life and my overall sense of self? What impact would that have on my overall sense of purpose and fulfillment? And just take a moment to think about that. What I'd like to invite you to do is decide what is one small actionable step that you can take this week to move you forward in that area to increase the rating of that area. It doesn't have to be big, it's just a step in the right direction. If you want to keep yourself accountable, pop it in the comments below. If you want to keep it to yourself, keep it to yourself. But what's going to move you in the right direction? So hopefully this wheel has brought you a little more self-awareness. It's not just about identifying problems. It's about shining a light on the areas of your life and give direction to your attention. Remember, the point of clarity is not to overwhelm you, but to empower you. When you know where you are, you can start to figure out where you want to go, and then prioritization becomes so much simpler. So each step this week in the challenges is going to be a foundation for the next day. So tomorrow we'll dive deeper into setting specific goals for your focus area and use proven concepts to make those goals more achievable. Finally, it's important to keep in mind that change doesn't happen all at once. This week's about small, consistent steps to gain clarity over what you want. So celebrate the small step in clarity that you got today and know that you're already taking action just by being here. So let's keep building on this tomorrow. Thanks for joining me for day 1, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 2, where we'll take this foundation and start transforming it into clear, actionable goals. See you tomorrow.